I love Nate. That fight's a year away. Yeah, so I'm not even thinking about anything right now. The landscape will change so much by next 4th of July. You know, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows who's going to be on the card or what the main event will be or who will hold all the titles, and everything could be completely different. So it's not even worth thinking about it right now.
Sure.
It's not even about him winning the belt. I mean, I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Look, man, I think we're all a little bit tired of two names right now, and that's Conor McGregor and Jon Jones. Technically, neither one of these guys are really active, and so hearing their names repeatedly being thrown around has to be agitating to not just me. I mean, it is all of the time, and everybody wants to know, are you going to let him fight? Are you going to let him fight? Are you going to let him fight? And Dana said, look, man, it's a year out. In other words, let it go. We're not talking about it. It's a year from now. I'm not discussing it. I'm not worried about it. All the things that I've already said. It's a year, and we don't know what a year is going to look like. And here's a bigger thing. To a lot of people, it's going to look like, man, Dana finally put his foot down when it comes to McGregor and Jon Jones, especially Jon Jones, right? We'll see. Look, Jon Jones took to Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and he said, look, I'm training. I'm doing things right. That's where I'm at right now. Look, I'm going to say something that a lot of people aren't going to like, but I really don't care. As somebody who is 229 days sober, I know an addict when I see one. And Jon Jones is an addict. That's all there is to it. He's popped hot too many times to not be. And he's definitely addicted to the lifestyle that he's been living outside of the cage. Nobody knows better than me. And I need everybody to understand that sympathy and understanding are two entirely different things. Can I give him sympathy? Absolutely. Can I give him empathy? Of course I can. Can I be understanding? Yes, I can. But I know one thing. I'm not going to take the DC approach. I'm not going to take this high road while I'm threatening to literally unalive somebody. That doesn't make any sense to me. And if it makes sense to you, I don't know what to tell you, man. Maybe it worked. Maybe what Dana said right there about, hey, look, man, I can't trust Jon Jones right now. Maybe what he said right there actually did something to Jones. I don't know. Maybe it made him wake up and realize, dang, I really got to quit goofing around. I want this event. It's extraordinary. I mean, he talked about what it would be like to fight for his country. It's at the White House. It's a huge deal. I can't get in trouble. He said those things. Maybe it's for real. I don't know. Me personally, I have a hard time believing anything Dana White is saying right now. Dana White went on the Jim Rome show and said, look, if we don't have the deal done in a couple of weeks, we're going to forget about it. We're going to move on. Of course, he was talking about Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. A few days later, Jon Jones retires, essentially drops the belt to Aspinall. Dana says, dude, we had the fight done. Well, if he was under contract, Broham, then you would be making him fight. Or you would take him to court. Okay? So one of the two would be happening. Then in addition to that, you had Jon Jones saying, look, I told him back in November. And Aspinall even said, I think Jon Jones basically has been retired since November. So maybe there's validity to what Jon Jones said. Look, all we know is this. I don't think any of us care right now. And I think all of this needs to just blow over and just let everybody kind of mellow out on talking about Conor McGregor and Jon Jones, especially after Dustin just had an amazing retirement fight with Max Holloway. There were so many great moments during the fight, after the fight. Those are the things that we need to be talking about. You know, the connection that D has had with Max Holloway's little son. And, you know, he was crying when they first lost and Dustin beat him. And he just said, hey, man, don't cry. You know, your dad's still a champion. Your dad's great. Don't cry. Years later, Dustin gets beat by Max Holloway and his son's in there. Max Holloway's son, hey, man, I love you. Those are the things that we need to be talking about. But no, here we are, because this whole thing with McGregor and Jones is so polarizing. It's polarizing conversation. And at some point, I think it's fair to say it's time to move on from it. Speaking of which, anybody see the end of that fight? Dustin was not going out like JG. That was not happening, Brody. Stand right here. No, sir. I'm clinching. I don't care. It's my last fight, and you're not going to see me laid out, sprawled all over the place. People wondering if I'm alive or not, man. I mean, seriously, I really wondered if JG was alive the first time I saw that happen. That was a vicious, vicious knockout, my man. And look, kudos to Dustin, because, you know, he kind of hung in there, but then he was like, forget this. I'm clinching up. He felt one of them blows, and nobody throws an overhand right like Max Holloway, Brody. That thing is lethal. I wouldn't have stepped into that either. I'm just saying. I will say this, as great as that was, man, I wish they'd do away with that BMF belt. The most useless title in all of professional sports is that BMF belt. It's so WWE, man. And before anybody says, you know, man, you're hating on the WWE, listen up, wrestling fan. Stone Cold is the GOAT, argue with a wall. I've been a wrestling fan since I was like 6 years old. Cut it. But I understand that there's a place and time for everything. And in real sport, a BMF belt is just not the place and time. Because if you fight in the UFC, aren't you already a BMF? Logic dictates, right? And there's the potential of it being defended. I get it. You know, obviously Johnson, he was talking about after the fight, you know, hey, look, man, I really want to see Max Holloway. Okay, but here's the thing, though. How long can that logically be defended? I mean, essentially what you're looking at is the equivalent to Mick Foley holding a hardcore title. But who isn't hardcore that fights MMA? I would like to meet that person. And I mean, you have to be in some capacity, right? I mean, I've interviewed fighters before where they're like, dude, I'm not a violent person, but you have to be violent to win the sport. So in some capacity, you enjoy violence. You're hardcore. So what I'm saying is, I don't know. It's not a good look at every time. And look, logically, speaking of, they had The Rock give it away. How did you not call Stone Cold first? I understand The Rock's got like global appeal because, you know, movies. But come on. If you're going to WWE the thing, the logical explanation is Stone Cold Steve Austin. How that phone call didn't happen still blows my mind. I don't know. For me, for my money, it's a useless title. And it's a way to drive up money cost. And you can put it on pay-per-view and say, oh, we have a championship fight. So now you get to charge more money at the gate. I don't think it's sensical. But it is what it is. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. And Dana White will tell you, logically speaking, the first thing he's going to dictate what'll dictate any decision making is, does this make sense financially? I mean, part of that question about Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor was, are you interested in doing business with Nate Diaz? And you heard his response. It's really about financially, does it make sense? And financially, he can't be crushed by John Jones not showing up. And financially, he can't be crushed by Conor McGregor pulling out the way that he did Chandler. All the money they lost on all the promotions and everything else, So I'm going to do this because I, for one, am tired of the bad press that gets put out about Sheduer Sanders. I don't know where it comes from. I see a kid who's young and confident, and he's earned his stripes. I think he would have got to the NFL without his pop coaching him. I think he's a legitimate quarterback. He's got things he's got to improve on. I said before anybody else that he was holding on to the football for too long. He's got a couple of other things that it seemed like in his last year at Colorado, especially towards the second half of the season, he was really maturing on the field things. Off the field, he's never been a problem, and I don't get it. And so I want you to go ahead and take a look at this news report, verified by Yahoo, ESPN, etc. A tremendous move by Sheduer Sanders. Check this out.
Terrace apartments were damaged, more than 100 people displaced. But now if you look around, hundreds of people are out here. Everyone has a smile on their face.
Of course, everybody know about the situation, everything that happened here, and I was out of town when it happened, so I was able to put things together, structure things the best we could.
That's Sheduer Sanders. Quiet, not a lot of publicity. People found out what was going on, and then they showed up. And in case you don't understand what's happening right there were a bunch of fires that had broke out in this apartment complex, and Sheduer said, man, we're going to figure out what's going on. I'm out of town, but we're going to make something happen. We've only got a few days. We're going to correlate. We're going to put something together, and we're going to bring everybody in this community together, and we're going to make it happen for people in this bad situation. Y'all don't want to talk about that, though, do you? You want to talk about Sheduer holding up his wrist. Like, it's not okay to be a confident quarterback because nobody's ever seen a confident, flashy quarterback before. And just because they don't always show it on TV, ask anybody what a quarterback is like in the huddle, in practice. Man alive. I'm telling you, he is the future of the Cleveland Browns. They better not mess this up. Why they drafted Dylan Gabriel and him really blows my mind. I think they're just kind of taking a 50-50 shot. I really do. I think they threw something at a wall to see if it would stick. And I think their feeling is, look, if one doesn't pan out, then hopefully the other one will. And because they drafted late, you saved yourself money in case it doesn't. But hopefully that also means you're going to put some offensive linemen. You took a risk with Nick Chubb. You let him go in free agency. That was disrespectful as all get out. I'm just saying, I really think that when it boils down to it, this is the real Sheduer. This is the Sheduer that people don't want to talk about. And you know what? That's fine. Keep making fun of him. You know, the draft thing and the fake phone call and the holding up his wrist and putting on business and getting his jersey retired, all because of who his pop is and all this. Keep saying what you want to say. There's been plenty of successful quarterbacks in the NFL who never won a championship at college. Did you know that? I don't know. John Elway's one of them. John Elway played in 5 Super Bowls. And until Tom Brady came along, nobody had been in more Super Bowls than Elway. As a quarterback, I should say. Say what you want about his record. Eventually he won and he retired Super Bowl MVP while beating the coach who said that he would never win one. Aaron Rodgers never won a championship in college. If you look at the all-time passing leaders for collegiate football, you look at the top 8, go look and see how many of them have won a Super Bowl. It means 2 things. Number 1, the NFL is still harder than you think. And number 2, that's not all that translates when it comes to the NFL. There's a lot of guys with a lot of flashy numbers. But a good majority of those guys washed out in a couple of years. Got OU fan. Look at that. It's QBU. It's QBU. You got to win a championship, Brody. One of those quarterbacks has to win a championship. I'm just saying. And I'm just saying that's who Sheduer is. And I think people need to start putting some respect on his name. All right, everybody. I am Drew Duncan. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan Radio. I am wherever you're listening to broadcast. Simply tell your device to play the Drew Duncan Sports Show. Everybody stay safe, take care of yourselves, and have a wonderful rest of your night and or day.